Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this week, the one, the only Jacob Terrell. No Earl this week, no Christina, no Harry, just the two of us. We are expecting a guest, potentially two. Here in the next few moments. So hopefully they'll be joining us this evening because we have some things that we want to talk about. First and foremost, so welcome on in, everybody. I do want to welcome you guys into the number 2 sports podcast in New Mexico, according to feedspot.com.
I'll take it. Don't know what that website is, but I'll take it.
The only podcast, the number 1 podcast on the website is All Sports Best, which I have not heard of. I went and gave them a listen, though. They're not bad.
So there were 2 sports podcasts in New Mexico?
No, there are at least 10.
Oh, okay. And we got number 2.
All right. We got number 2. We are, according to feedspot.com, we are rated higher than Talking Grammar.
I mean, no comment. No, just kidding.
There were some other podcasts on this list that I was not familiar with. Sports Primo, Running New Mexico, the Lobo Pod, Rust is Gold Racing, Rugby Rancher Banter, United Sessions came in at number 9, and then NM State Athletics Insider around the top 10. So there are quite a few New Mexico sports podcasts.
I'll take number 2 gladly.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh and Justin, welcome on in. Glad to see you guys. We do have a little bit of United news, but before we get there, Jacob, I do have one burning question for you this week.
I'm ready.
How bad did UNM get fleeced by Bronco Mendenhall?
Oh, I'm not ready. Look, man, I understand the frustration. It's kind of along the same lines as Quill. Like, it is what it is. I'm not going to fault him. I'm not going to hate him. Alford I'll hate. That one still rose me wrong, but also it's like, I know I might piss off some people. It's fucking Lobo football. I don't care. I just don't care. Like, we have never been a football program, a football school, really ever in my existence in 35 years. I know I look 12. Thanks. But no, never have they really been a thing. And so I didn't think he was a savior by any means. I thought we had a solid season. Maybe we could build on it. But honestly, we've learned this with Lobo basketball. If you have a good season, the transfer portal is going to screw you over because that's just college basketball or college sports now. And so, yeah, we will always be one-hit wonders as far as I'm concerned in football, and we'll probably have like one good year, a couple bad years, a good year, a couple bad years, and then we move on.
Yeah, I mean, between the Bronco Mendenhall coming in with the one and done, you've got Devin Dempier entering the transfer portal. You've got Luke Wysong going to the portal. You've got the punter going into the transfer portal. I mean, what kind of situation do you have to be in when your punter enters the transfer portal?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this transfer portal thing out because back in my day, I sound like old man right now. Like, if you transferred, you had to sit out a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
well, see, the thing is with Mendenhall leaving, all of these guys can transfer without having sat no matter what. So there've already been people that have decommitted. Yeah. Some of the new kids coming in, they've already decommitted because Mendenhall left. So, it was almost like, what was it, Black Thursday almost for the Lobo football program. You follow that up with the loss in the Rio Grande rivalry at the pit.
So some good news, though.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear that a certain coach is looking to move to the college ranks, and I know exactly where he should land. And that would,
what do you think they would have to shell out for Belichick to have to come here?
Oh, you're talking about Belichick?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, shoot, I don't even know. I mean, maybe his 20-year-old girlfriend likes it here. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it was a weird week for Lobo football. Obviously they come within a score of making the bowl season for the first time in since 2016, I believe it was. You lose a coach, you lose multiple players, including one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, statistically speaking. So yeah, I mean, but obviously you got the new AD coming in. Obviously, job one for him is
Bring back
finding a coach.
UNM men's soccer. That's the number one job for him.
Can we petition this? Can we do this?
I don't care who the men's football coach is. Bring back UNM men's soccer.
Yeah, maybe we can petition him to do that. Maybe we just cut the football program altogether.
I mean, yeah.
Especially with all the changes to the Mountain West, and now you've got UC Davis coming into the Mountain West. Did you see this today? News coming out of the Mountain West, they're welcoming UC Davis into the conference.
I saw that briefly. I haven't had time to process it, so is what it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. University of California Davis further strengthens the trajectory of the Mountain West as it continues to build its brand that is proven to elevate institutions and student athletes. That's coming from the commissioner of the conference itself. Starting with 2026-2027 academic year, the Mountain West will feature Air Force, UC Davis, Grand Canyon, University of Hawaii, University of Nevada, University of New Mexico, San Jose State, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, University of Texas, El Paso, and the University of Wyoming. That is a weird conference.
You just hold on. Like you said, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Yeah. And I never put it together. That's what the fuck UNLV stood for. And you kind of just blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I just knew it was a university in Las Vegas. I never had put it together what it stood for. And now you said that, and I was like, who is that? And I was like, oh, UNLV. Duh. Wow.
Yeah, it's that's a conference for sure. I don't know how much UC Davis elevates the conference, but
who knows?
Yeah, who knows indeed.
Who knows?
So I'm continuing to keep an eye on my inbox here to see if our guest is going to be joining us. I have not heard anything yet. But in the meantime, we do have a little bit of United news. A couple more roster moves have come out.
Some fantastic United news.
Exactly.
A little bit, but it's been some good names.
Yeah, we've got some
much
more
anticipated names.
Yeah, more returning players. Still no new signings, but of course, as we talked about last week, that may be a minute. Because obviously we think of the club as waiting for them to sign a new head coach before we get to that point. But first and foremost, I believe the initial announcement that came out on Wednesday of last week was the return of not one but two goalkeepers. Both Alex Tambakis and Chris Shakes are back for 2025. Now we discussed this and postulated about this a couple of weeks ago. What happens between the sticks? Was there possibly that Alex moves on? If that's the case, does Chris get the number one? Well, now we don't have to worry anymore. We don't have to wonder about that. They're both back.
Yeah, I swear this is like the earliest the goalkeeping room has been solidified in like since in history for United. And so well before Christmas, we already know what it's going to look like. Maybe there's a chance Shakes start to actually compete. But my guess is Tambakis is the one, Shakes is the two. Tambakis may sit out a few more games and let Shakes take over a little bit more, but I think it's going to be a clear number one and number two. And I was one that was pretty boisterous about, maybe we need a shakeup back there. Anthony Siaha from Monterey Bay was a name that I was like, ooh, that could be good. He just signed with Indy 11 today, or they announced it today anyways. But no, Tambakis, we played that clip from the Phoenix match with Seymour talking about how he's the best goalkeeper out there and severely underrated and stuff. And so we know that the guys behind him or in front of him, really appreciate him. And so I don't think it's a terrible move. I don't think it's a bad move whatsoever. I think it's a pretty good move. I just think it was maybe time for a change, but we'll see. We've got another year. This is his fifth year now. going into fifth year. And so he must like it here. The fans, I know sometimes the fans can, the fan, the one who's not here right now, can sometimes be frustrated by him, but I'm excited for it. Glad that it's solidified. We don't have to worry about it, and we can move on.
Yeah, quickly, I named the podcast. I named this episode tonight specifically for him, and he decides to not show up tonight. So, I hate that. I hate that for him. I did something special for him, and he's not here.
I mean, should you have expected anything different?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Probably not.
So shame on you. That's right. It's not shame on him. Shame on you for expecting something different.
Justin over in chat, I think that decision was made due to coach leaving. Do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I think what we've learned, not through United's messaging, but through USL Championships messaging, is that everybody that's returned so far, aside from Brucey, who signed a contract extension during the season, everybody else has been an exercised option. So that we, had them under contract and had an option for this year and decided to, this is what happens when it's only me here. What can I give you to play with? Here. No, Mom will get mad. Yeah, take those. Go play. Go have fun. Be gone. I think he probably comes back regardless of if coach is here or not with that option. My guess is it's probably a team friendly option. Otherwise, they might have reconsidered. And so hard to say. These contract options, as we've kind of talked about, is I think the deadline for that was a while ago. And so we couldn't wait to see what happened with the coaching spot or anything like that. They just had to make the decision. They'd probably already talked about, I would assume it wasn't like okay, season's over. Now let's figure out what we're going to do with these options. I think they kind of already knew more or less which ones they wanted to pick up. My guess is when we started getting those announcements from teams like Rhode Island and Sacramento and all that about, hey, these are the options we picked up. These are the people that are out of contract, yada, yada, yada. My guess is United had that information at that time, or at least shortly thereafter. But instead of giving it to us right away, they're dragging it out, as we've talked about. And so I think it was probably something that was decided before maybe even coach left.
Probably, as we've seen in the past, like you said, most of these are options, or if they are, in fact, new contracts or contract extensions, a lot of stuff does get decided prior to end of season. They just don't announce it, and they just rarely announce it prior to that. So yeah, I do tend to agree. I do think at least Alex was decided prior to. I do think Chris might have been, kind of later in the decision-making process when they're looking at who they want to bring back this next year. But I think it does provide a bit of stability at the back. And it does keep two very vocal members of the club with them for at least another season. So be exciting to see what happens. I honestly, and while I would like to see Chris more, unless there's a significant injury to Alex, I just don't think we see Chris unless absolutely necessary in league play. But you'll see him in the
Yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe we see, it depends on coaching too, right? Like who the coach comes in, what coaching staff does he bring in, and how they feel about him. But Alex is a proven entity in this league for many, many years, not just the 5 years that he's been with us, but even before that with North Carolina. And so, yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
All right, so that leads us into the next announcement that came last week. We got word that we had two more players, Talon Maples and Anthony Herbert, both returning as well, two United center backs, and quite possibly one of the best center back duos that got very little love from the league or other media outlets throughout the year. They're both returning for next season as well. I know you and I have both hoped that they would both return, and I think this is fantastic news. I do, again, they played phenomenally well. They developed into a really good pairing there at the back and really led United throughout much of the season.
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, we didn't know much about them. I mean, they came in kind of as trialists. They were like the two of the last players to be announced. Two of the last players to be announced coming into the season, and then Ryden goes down with an injury after the very first game, and Maples looks solid in that first game, and then Herbert kind of takes over. Well, I think Seymour played the second game and looked a little shaky, and then Herbert comes in and those two, man, they just locked it down for every match that they were back there. Just the two of them to start the match, man. I felt so confident after seeing him for like 2 or 3 matches. After that, it was like, okay, these guys got it. I like the skill set, like kind of it reminded me of Tottenham a little bit when Romero and Van de Ven are there. Like Herbert and Van de Ven remind me a lot of each other. Speed, height, can get up, and then Romero and Talon are kind of the enforcers and a little beefier and a little stronger, and I think they just play so well together. I'm so excited to see them back. There were two of the names that I think were high on everybody's list that I talked to. They were high on our lists, and so to see them come back, we're really building from the back. We've got Bruce announced already, who's up front, but then everything else has been Seymour and Dubois, Maples or Shakes and Tambakis, Maples and Herbert, and then even the next player that was announced yesterday. All of them are the back half of the pitch. They're playing our own third most of the time, and so we're really trying to build that spine and reinforce that back end. And so far, so good, man. I would love to see some new players announced. We see new players popping in here and there, but my guess is we don't see a whole lot of that for a few more weeks. Because I think the coach, we're still like I was thinking it was before Christmas. Now with where we're at, I don't know. I think it's going to be a bit.
So a lot of different things here that we can possibly look at unpacking. The first thing I want to get to, though, is with this signing, a very quick signing or at least the announcement, I should say, of Maples and Herbert, does this potentially signal the end of Kalen Ryden's time in New Mexico?
I don't think so. I think Ryden knows kind of his standing right now. He's getting on the older side. He's had some injury issues. From everything that I've seen, him and his wife and their kid love it here. And so I think we bring him back. I think that might be one. I think if I'm the social media team or the front office, I'm looking at it like this. I'm like, okay, who can we start off with that's going to be like, bang, this is what we're doing. And Brucey obviously comes to mind. No mystery there. Bring him back, bam. And then Ryden may be somebody that they're like, who can we save to right around Christmas to announce to build up some good publicity around Christmas time. And I think Ryden might be that announcement. I think we might see him the week of Christmas is kind of my thought process there. Now, my thought process and the team's thought process could be two different thought processes, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. If they do have that list already of who's returning and who's not and blah, 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 the way I would do it is if we're holding on to people, I'd hold on to Ryden until then. And yeah, I agree with Josh over in the chat. If he plays, he's going to play for us like Bruce. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin's right, though. He's going to go media and take photography full time. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case either. He could theoretically be thinking about retirement. I don't think he does, but it's a possibility. And so, yeah, especially with a younger kid, we've kind of noticed, Weehan, obviously some injury related to stuff too, but has a young kid, retired. Devin, Suggs, I think they all would agree that family time is pretty important. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ryden goes that road too. But I think if he plays, like Josh said, he plays here. And I think we announce him Christmas week.
All right. And that leads us into the last player announcement that we got. And he's, like you said, it came out yesterday. And this is one that I was really hoping for. A man who really was the I think the word that the club used was general in the midfield, but he was a guy that really drove things for us. And when he wasn't away on international duty, I mean, he was phenomenal. Zico Bailey announced he's returning for his second full season with New Mexico United. And this is phenomenal. I love Zico to death. I think that he is tremendously talented. We've obviously seen what he can do. And not to mention, given the way the season ended, for him, I really want to see him back out there, and giving it his all again next year.
Yeah, man, I had forgot about how the season ended. That, that is huge, and just like you said, we struggled when he was not here as a team. We struggled when he was not in the lineup, and so when they announced it, that was another name on a lot of people's lists. I know. I mean, it was hard because everybody is on everybody's list for the most part, but Zico was definitely pretty high up there, and I think that him coming back, being able to hopefully kind of make up for how last season ended, even though I don't think he has anything to make up for. If it's not for him, I don't think we're in that position anyways. And so now super excited for it. And yeah, so we've got a ton of players announced now. I think the number's up to 11 or 10. And so I'm super excited for that. And the 10 players that we have announced. So it's Bruce, it's Micheletto, Abdi, Shakes and Tambakis, Maples, Herbert, Bailey. I'm missing 2. Seymour and Dubois.
There you go.
And so yeah, solid group coming back. I think we add a few more names to that, then we might start seeing some new players come in. And of course, all of it kind of is hinging on the coach, right? We keep talking about it. Still no news. Seems like they're still a few weeks away. And that's the one that I'm really hoping for. But if you've noticed, Sacramento and San Antonio both let go of their coach before Quill left, and they still not have announced anything. And so some moving and shaking going on. Lexington, Sporting Lexington did, or Lexington Sporting Club, whatever the hell it is. They did announce their new coach, a guy I'd never heard of, Terry Boss. But the other 3 kind of big names kind of are still up in the air. And so we shall see.
Yeah, you have to think this is an attractive job for any number of coaches. And obviously, given the history here, I had a bit of a back and forth with someone over on the subreddit the other day.
I'm sorry.
I know, right? No, they were kind of, let me see it. Let me pull it up here real quick, because I want to make sure I have, their thoughts correct. Because I don't want to misquote anyone here. There's my comments.
You don't want to misquote an anonymous person from a website that is full of people that just talk out their ass.
Exactly. So they had posted their poster on the server. It was any word on a new coach search. Was wondering if anyone heard anything about the search for a new coach. Frankly, I think Quill screwed us a bit. Even if the Dallas job was his dream job, you couldn't do one more year to build on what you start and finish it. That was their initial comment. So I asked them, where is it? I said, nope, no, we're on coaching search. Quill didn't screw anyone. He did a hell of a job in a year and a half. It's no surprise that MLS came calling. There was smoke around him, which we knew, leaving potentially into 2023, but he stayed. I said, best case, so we get an announcement before Christmas. At that time, my opinion was that we would get the announcement after Christmas. So they came down and they replied and said, I guess I'm a bit of a downer on it because I like to see sustained success, and that's hard to do with a new coach every year or two. Maybe it's just part of the league being in. So I came back, and I think I asked some valid questions. How do you define sustained success? And to give a little bit of context, I went on to say we've made the playoffs in 5 out of our 6 seasons. We've had double-digit wins in 5 out of our 6 seasons, with the exception being the COVID year, in which we did not, which we had 8 wins. Instead, we had 46 plus points in 5 of 6 seasons. Again, that's all except for the COVID year. And the one year we didn't make the playoffs was not the COVID. We've had 3 coaches now go to the MLS into different roles, 2 as head coaches, 1 as an assistant coach. We've even sent the goalkeeper to MLS, who is now a coach as well. We've also made the round of 32 or better in 3 out of 4 Open Cup appearances, including 2 runs to the quarterfinals. So, I mean, am I wrong here in thinking that we've already had sustained success in our short time?
Yes.
Is this you? Is this
no? No, God, no. No. I think when you look at Lou City,
mm-hmm.
even when you look at Phoenix, barring this year, and you look at Pittsburgh and some Charleston and some of these other clubs, like sustained success, that's a tongue twister a little bit,
mm-hmm.
is not just making the playoffs every year, but making at least a run in the playoffs most years, getting to a Western or Eastern Conference final, getting to a cup, winning a cup, something like that. And so it has been successful, but I can see where he is wanting a step up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we've seen, other than Pittsburgh with Bob Lilly, all of those other teams have changed coaches multiple times in their run of success. And so I don't think necessarily that, the changing of coaches is as big of a deal. You want to talk? You just want to host? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Have at it, Maggie.
Oh, you're not going to do it anymore? Cool. And so I
think she disagrees with me too.
Yeah, I mean, she sounds like every Redditor I've ever met. So, so yeah, I think really what it's going to come down to is really what it's going to come down to is the front office bringing in the proper players. And if we do have coaches that leave, bringing in the right replacement. I think so far, Troy was a fantastic hire. I think he fit the bill perfectly for what we needed to kick off this club. I can see where the Zach hire came into play. I can see where you're like, hey, we've got this awesome guy in Troy. Zach he's been a player. He coached under Troy. Let's give him a chance. We want to be a family that kind of promotes and stuff like that from within. It didn't necessarily work out. He wanted to go be an assistant in MLS. I don't blame him there whatsoever. And then we upgraded, I think, even over Troy. No offense to Troy. But I think we upgraded even more when we went to Quill. And so if they can continue that, or at least keep the level that Quill brought, that is what's going to give us sustained success more so than changing coaches. Because let's be honest, the USL is a stepping stone for players and coaches alike. And so if you have a good coach other than Bob Lilly, you're going to see them leave to go to other things. That's just the way it's going to work, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You might get 2 or 3 seasons instead of just 1.5 like we got, but that's kind of the price that we pay for being in the USL. It just kind of is what it is. So
yeah, and Lily's a name that I brought up in that discussion as well, saying, hey, you're not going to get many Bob Lillys.
No, you're just not. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Every single successful club in this league has gone through multiple coaches in the 5 years that we've been in the league.
Mhm.
And so that's just not the league that we're in. We're not the Premier League where you're going to get Pep for 20 years. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Can you stop? And so he's right that we should want higher sustained success. But at the end of the day, the coaching, I don't think, is going to be what does that. I think it's going to be the players in the front office, and specifically like Itamar, who is in charge of these hires for the most part. And it's guys like him that are picking these right players and these right coaches, regardless of who comes and goes. Because let's be honest, if you had a team full of Cal Jennings, Danny Trejo, Ronaldo Damas, Forrest Lasso, all these studs, they're not going to stick around, because if you're dominating, they're going to get noticed more. They're going to leave. They might come back, like all of those names kind of have. But that's where we're at as a league. And so some fans need to pull their head out of their you-know-whats and be realistic about, Maggie, I am trying to host a podcast here.
You know what? She would be the perfect replacement for Earl.
Love you, Earl. But he's right. He is. Except for I can't mute her. And so... Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Sod, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Yeah, she's more accurate. Oh, man. She did tell me earlier that Saudi Arabia is evil. And so she fits that Earl mold perfectly.
All righty.
Hunting.
Well, let me ask you this, since we're talking about coaches now. You were higher on the possibility of us getting a coach before Christmas than I was. If you had to give it a percentage, like right now, knowing what we know and kind of how we expect things to go with the club, where would you put yourself?
A percentage on. Oh, man. Hold on. This comment. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. My mouse is off because I gave it to her. Oh, man. Oh, you clicked at the same time.
Yeah.
A+ comment, Josh. That's why you're in the chat, my friend. A percentage on
percentage chance, like
of having it before Christmas.
Yeah.
25.
25.
I was higher on it being before Christmas. No, you cannot have that. That's sharp and pokey and will hurt you. I'm sorry. That was my percentage. I was higher on it, but now I don't know. It just I've got some feelings that it's going to take a little longer than I thought. Mainly because I'm looking at San Antonio and Sacramento. Magdalene. I'm looking at San Antonio and Sacramento. They haven't announced anything either. Don't laugh now, you little turd. You little turd. And so I think it's just going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah. I get it. I think I've come up a little bit from where I was before, and maybe even significantly. I put a comment over in the Discord. I feel like I'm worried about, I think I said I put myself about 70% chance that we'll have an announcement before Christmas. I'm still not 100% sold that it'll happen, but I'm feeling better about it now. I trust this club. I know that we've got, obviously with guys like Itamar and with Pete and with Braun, and them looking at the future and knowing that they want to build and continue to grow, from where we're at now. I can't imagine them, not saying they're not doing their due diligence, but I can't imagine them just sitting back on their laurels and taking their time, So I think it's something they want to get in place sooner rather than later. Again, because you want, help build that excitement, help build and have someone who comes in and be able to start working their identity with Itamar to get players involved and signed for the new season.
I agree that they want to, and I don't think they're dragging their feet necessarily. I think this stuff just kind of takes time.
Yeah.
And I had originally thought that they could maybe work some magic and do things a little faster. But when you're talking about, not only from where they were when Quill left, which I'm not exactly sure where they were at, but seems like they were pretty early in the process. So you have to narrow it down to maybe what? You have to narrow it down to maybe 5 or 6, do some preliminary interviews, narrow it down, do a couple more interviews. Like that's a really important hire that you just can't really rush. And then once you pick a guy, then you got to negotiate contract and everything else. And so I don't know. I hope that we can get it done in the next 2 weeks, but I'm just not as optimistic as I was, say, a week ago for some reason.
I get it. Speaking of going into negotiations with players and coaches, joining us now, we have the CEO of the New Mexico Runners, Andres Trujillo. Andres, perfect timing, my friend.
What's up, fellas?
How you been? It's good to talk to you.
It's great to be here with you guys. Great to see y'all. And sorry about that. I was at a Rio Rancho Chamber event, and it ran long. And so, it's the season to start, getting out there in the community, marketing, pushing the season, getting things going. So trying to make things happen as we get close to kickoff for season 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of worked out perfectly. We were able to knock out the United stuff, get all that under control, and now we can give the runners the respect that they deserve and just focus on you guys for a little while here on the pod.
Awesome. How you guys been?
Absolutely. We're doing good. Jacob obviously has the little one there who's learning.
I love it.
She's learning to become a podcaster herself. So
hey, getting her hands on the dials and
say hi.
All that good stuff.
Say hi.
Yeah. Learning from the best, brother.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're glad to have you on, and it's been a busy off season, not only for the runners but for the league as well. MASL having some announcements, the club having some announcements. Season 6 of the runners up in Rio Rancho. Can't wait. I know there's been some number of roster announcements over on Facebook if anyone hasn't seen that yet. But first, I want to ask you. We were just talking about negotiations with coaches. Obviously, you made the big announcement a few weeks ago. Head coach Steve Familetta returning for season 6 with the Runners, USL Hall of Famer, as well as world record holder Steve Familetta. What's it like having Fammy come back and lead the charge here again in season 6?
Well, the thing is that Coach Familetta has always been a guy of vision, an individual that sees what the process is like and sees through the processes of things. Ever since day one, he's been aboard of what we're doing, been a part of it. He's been able to facilitate bringing the level of play to higher and higher and higher every year. I think to be honest, our record, it hasn't reflected a little bit of that, right? Because we went 1-11 last season. Things were a little tough, but we did have a lot of newcomers that have never played the indoor game before at a competitive level. So that's a variable that had an effect on what we've done on the field. But at the end of the day, his vision is to elevate our guys, elevate the athlete, put the fundamentals of arena soccer out there, because it is a different game. Soccer is soccer, but at the end of the day, when you're outdoor soccer, the dynamics are different from indoor soccer, and both have their strategies, both have their ways to have successes on the field, scoring goals, defense, everything that you can imagine when it comes to the elements of the game. So, Steve Fammy is great. I mean, where he's positive, he's excited, and practice is great. We've got a bunch of new guys that we've never seen before, and I think because of what we've done and how we've showcased our talent, and of course, Fammy being who he is, I think there's a lot of local talent that has become excited to come play for us.
You talk about elevating the level of play, elevating the club, elevating, the talents on the pitch. Let's talk about the announcements that came out from the MASL this offseason. First and foremost, the MASL announced a formal alignment and unification with the Premier Arena Soccer League, creating the largest North American indoor soccer league. I believe it's the largest indoor soccer league in the world, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So now you've got the MASL, MASL2, MASL3, and MASL Women's League as well.
Yep.
Talk about what this announcement, and also there's some expansion going on. I believe there's a club coming up in Guadalajara as well in MASL. Talk about what this means for the league, what it means for the runners, and how it affects season 6.
Yeah, that's what the whole thing is, right? Expansion and growth, right? If we're not growing, then what are we doing here, right? We get stale. We don't want that. So the league has done the Major Arena Soccer League has done a great job of consolidating, the growth, right? With the PASL merger, now you got M3, a more robust M3, which is a level below us, and then of course that also created the MASLW. So now you got the women playing at a high competitive level in a national league. So that is, to me, I think is creating that hierarchy and creating that pathway to unify everything. Dude, that just brings arena soccer to the front. The front and center of it all. When indoor soccer was at its peak back in the late 70s, early 80s, right? Late 80s. I mean, holy moly, people were into the game. And so the idea is to bring that inspiration back. The MASL, M2, M3, MASLW. The idea is to bring everybody to up front and center to what the game is about. And it's an exciting game. It's fun. It's fast. It is such a great atmosphere, and it's all about that excitement that, hey, we want to share on our local team. And I think with the growth patterns, there's a lot of things that are happening and going to happen, especially here with New Mexico Runners Arena Soccer.
Yeah, so with the changes, it also affected, what the outlook for your season 6 is going to look like. We've got some new faces in the division this year.
Yes.
Obviously, we have perennial favorites, Wichita, who the Runners will kick off the season with. Yeah. You got some new faces. You got the Empire Jets, you got the Chihuahua Savage 2, and you've got Turlock Cal Express, as well as the Certified Lions FC. All new faces this year. So we're going to get the Runners in a couple different places this year. How has this affected what you do from an ownership standpoint and a planning standpoint on getting the club to and from these new locations and bringing these guys in?
Yeah, the thing is that I think in the past we've had solid division. We were listed in the Midwest division, and we had Amarillo involved within the division, as well as Dodge City, Kansas. And unfortunately, Dodge City, they kind of just folded up shop and didn't just decided to go dormant, so to speak. And then Amarillo decided to jump leagues to a different league, which was more focused on a smaller league for sure, more focused on the Chicago area. For whatever reason why they did that, I don't know. It kind of we were kind of upset when that announcement was made, because that was a great 4-hour trip to go play Amarillo, and it gave fans an opportunity to travel as well. So that was a great time. But unfortunately, with the whole change, they're bringing on, like you said, Oklahoma City. They're a new face. This is the first time, the inaugural season for them, and being able to get exposure to the West Coast as well, the West Coast side of things. San Diego coming to town on the 12th, and having Empire Jets, which is the Inland Empire, which is Ontario, California. So having our fans be able to see newcomers, I think is also a great thing. And yeah, for us this season, we're have to go down to Chihuahua in March. So definitely a unique schedule for us, and we've had to adjust, right? Everybody has to adjust, and we have to pivot, and we have to work with what we got, and I think we're going to be okay. Like it was a little frustrating at first, but I think we have a plan of action, to make things successful this season.
Speaking of other successes, you guys have some new sponsorships this year. Talk about the number one, the big one that I saw was the new kit sponsor. So why don't you tell everyone who the new kit sponsor is this year?
So we have partnered with Carnivore Popcorn Company, And if for those who don't know carnivore, Robert Mendez and his wife started this popcorn company, locally owned and operated, started from the ground up, all New Mexico. And his thoughts were, when he created the carnivore popcorn company, it was all about everybody loves popcorn, right? No matter what, they love flavors, they love all that good stuff. But they ended up creating their own flavors that were to their satisfaction and turned out to be a hit. And so, they were a ground up, started from nothing concept, started from nothing storyline, and what's really cool about that is we're the same thing, right? The New Mexico Runners started from $0, zero everything, built from the ground up, foundational, built from zero all the way to where we're at now. And we've actually been talking with Carnivore for the last few seasons on trying to get them on board, and we were just like, okay, let's see what we could do. Every season, hey, let's revisit this. Okay, we'll look at this. We'll look at this. And just what ended up happening was this season, Robert was like, "Hey, I'm ready, man. This is what we need. We're ready because we love what your brand is. We see what you're doing. You've been here for 6 seasons. You're like, you guys are legit. You guys are here for the long haul. We know sometimes teams come and go in this community, and you guys are season 6. This is cool. This makes sense. Your colors make sense with our brand. So let's rock and roll, and let's scratch a deal." And so, yep, they are our home kit sponsor.
Yeah, very, very cool. It's always you and I have talked in the past. You come on the show, talked in the past about how important it is to build local, whether it's talent, whether it's partnerships, and it's something that you certainly love to go and do and be involved with. You talking earlier about being out of the Rio Rancho Chamber tonight. You've certainly been recognized throughout the Albuquerque and Rio Rancho community for your involvement. What are some other ways that the runners are getting involved this season that may either be the same as last year or some new ways you're getting involved?
Yeah, one of our biggest community efforts and community give back is partnering with the Roadrunner Food Bank. We've been doing this for the last 3 seasons. Well, this will be the 3rd season, and the Roadrunner Food Bank is such a unique and an amazing organization, help feeding those who are hungry in our state, and really just being an important resource for our community, and so. The Roadrunner Food Bank is very near and dear to my heart because we grew up in that situation, right? My family definitely, we grew up hungry. We'd go to school and we'd get food and get lunch, but we were always hungry because, we didn't really have enough to at home. And, we were very, we were in the poverty cycle when we were growing up, and it was tough, right? And so Roadrunner Food Bank was a savior for us when we were growing up. I mean, my mom worked her butt off, my dad worked his butt off, and they were making ends meet, but it wasn't enough for 3 kids. So yeah, my grandmother would go to the food distributions with the Roadrunner Food Bank and get food and bring it back to us. And Roadrunner Food Bank has been such an amazing organization for so many years in this community. And so my thoughts were when several years ago when we were able to say, hey, how can we give back to the community? What do we got to do to pay it back? And the Roadrunner Food Bank is where it's at. And so for the last several seasons, we sell our jerseys. Our home jerseys have the proud supporters of the Roadrunner Food Bank logo on the back. But the unique thing about that is every jersey that we sell, we donate $10 back to the Roadrunner Food Bank. And so $10 is equivalent to 50 meals. So, the first time we partnered with the Roadrunner Food Bank 2 seasons ago, we were able to generate $1,000 for them. So you do the math; that's quite a bit. And last season, we were able to generate $1,200 for the Roadrunner Food Bank. So do the math, and those are a lot. Those are a lot of meals that are provided. And so that it's just something important to us, to me, to our family, to give back to our community, and so. Doing something like that, I mean, hey, we all got to do our part to really facilitate making things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I've certainly helped out with Roadrunner Food Bank in the past, either through volunteering or, in the past I've done, Amazon Flex and things like that. Amazon Flex actually does home deliveries from Roadrunner Food Bank. So you can pick up blocks from Amazon and go out to the Roadrunner Food Bank locations and pick up boxes of food and deliver them to individuals' homes.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, Roadrunner Food Bank, obviously a huge name throughout New Mexico, throughout the communities here. And, I know you guys do food drives, throughout the season. What can fans expect as they walk into the Rio Rancho Event Center this year when it comes to helping the food bank?
Yeah, so I mean, we're any way we can to any way, any resource we can bring to the Rotor Food Bank and organizations. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. I mean, in the past we've collected gloves and for the homeless, we've collected beanies, we've collected socks. We worked with different organizations across the board about that. And it's just about bringing things together and coming together, all of us to make a difference. One thing I did want to mention too this season, what to expect is one cool thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be partnering with other several charities and nonprofits, such as the New Mexico Autism Society, Make a Wish, and all these other organizations, and we're partnering up with several unions. In the community, and so what we're going to do is these unions. We're going to attach them to one of the charities or the nonprofits, and we're actually going to be doing jersey giveaways for fans. And these jersey giveaways will be tied into the charity and the union. And so, we're also going to be selling those jerseys and donating the proceeds back to the charity or the nonprofit that is associated for specific game nights. So we're in the process of getting those worked out here in the next couple of weeks on what the designation, what games are going to be what, but we're pretty close to finalizing the deals with the unions and that are involved, as well as the nonprofits that are involved. So, but yeah, lots of big things happening in giving back in our community.
Speaking of that schedule, the schedule is out. We've got a full schedule here. Obviously, the first two matches of the year on the road. First up, Wichita Wings this weekend, and then you've got Certified Lions in the lead up to Christmas. And then the first home match of the year, Sunday, December 29th, 3:05 kick against Certified Lions, who are making the trip out to Rio Rancho. I was a little bit surprised when I pulled up the schedule and see them move away from the 5:05 kickoff. Did anything facilitate that change this year?
One of the cool things about being able to be flexible with our start times, we sit back and we analyze and get feedback from fans. We analyze what people say, we ask questions and whatnot. And the 3:05 start is something that the fans love. Because one, we have our games on Sundays, which is very convenient for a lot of folks. Two, having that 3:05 gives fans plenty of time to go do their thing during the day, go to church, go to breakfast, go to brunch, go do whatever they got to do, and then come to the runners game, come have some fun, excitement, and then by 5:30, you're out of the gate, you're out of the arena, right? And you have plenty of time to go home or go out to dinner or get ready for the work week or the school week. And so the timing is perfect, and the feedback has reflected that fans and families enjoy that, and it makes sense for them, and they stay longer for the game. So we've witnessed different times where different sporting events where people will leave early, and having our games at 3 actually entails keeping people longer, and they'll stay through the entire game because of that, because they know they'll have plenty of time and it's not going to be too late. And so kept it at 3:05.
There you go. Yeah, you guys do a lot out there on game day. We've talked about in the past. I mean, it really is an experience. And you've talked about your background being with Radio Disney and all those different things. What can families do? And obviously we've talked, I've said it before, this is a very family friendly, a very budget friendly experience that families can go and do. What are you guys planning this year for families? I know you had the bouncy houses and things like that in the past, and a lot of fun things happening in between periods, things happening at halftime. Anything new this year that fans can look forward to?
No. So definitely we're going to have the same, fun areas, like you said, the bouncy house, in Rio's birthday zone, of course, we have Magic Mirror photo booth, and they'll be doing their thing. But we're going to be really focusing on bringing youth groups together. One of our focuses is we're going to have a youth soccer day, and on January 26th. We haven't announced it just yet. It's on our single tickets game schedule if you go to our website. But we're cranking out a couple other details, which is we want to, right before the spring season starts for youth soccer, we want to get the kids out and have a parade of teams and do all kinds of cool things with the youth soccer groups in the community. we're going to be doing something like that. We're going to have on the 23rd is going to be a pretty February 23rd is going to be a big and I know I'm going off schedule off going down the list, but just off the top of my head, the February 23rd game is going to be great. It's going to be Rio's birthday bash. So Rio's birthday is actually technically he was released and revealed in July of 2017 excuse me 2018. And so he does, that's not when we play. So we decided, okay, we need to have like some kind of a time frame within our season that we're going to have Rio's birthday. And so we decided February 23rd is right smack in the middle. And so that'll be Rio's birthday bash. We'll be inviting all the mascots, his friends from around the community. And then, of course, attached with that, we're also going to be doing Hispanic Heritage Day as well. So we're going to be partnering up with all the different Hispanic organizations, the New Mexico National Hispanic Cultural Center, New Mexico Hispanic Heritage Committee, Hispano Chamber, all these different organizations and mariachis and just really go all out. So, we got that. And then on March 9th, we're working out the details, but we're trying to figure out a couple logistics, but a little bit of a sneak peek. We're going to have a wrestling runners soccer combo day where I'm sure you guys heard of the Duke City Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to partner. We got a partnership working with those guys, brewing that up, and then we're going to have some wrestling, and then right after have a runners arena soccer match. So that's going to be a fun one.
Can we get a matchup between Earl and Rio?
Let's do it. Let's get Earl. I don't know if he's watching. Earl, if you're watching, Seth just had Rio call you out.
Yeah, I was saying I very specifically named this episode just for Earl, and unfortunately he's not here. So yeah, I mean, obviously a lot going on. I pulled up the schedule here. You've got Rio Rancher Community Day, Beach Party Day, Youth Soccer Day. You mentioned Rio's birthday bash. You guys always put on a fantastic show. Always a lot of fun. When can we expect single game tickets to go on sale? No, season tickets are already on sale. And again,
season tickets are on sale. They start at $80, right? So affordable. You get 6 home games. Of course, you get a season 6 scarf as well. So the value right there. It's already you're looking at $110 for $80, right? But we're also doing something really cool this year with season tickets. And if you starting at $110, if you get the 110 package, that includes a hot dog and fountain drink at every single home game. So that's a $90 value right there. And so that pretty much pays for the season, the season ticket right there. And we just want to do something special for our season ticket holders. Hey, food. We're all about understanding the expensiveness. How things are very expensive, should I say, in today's world, the rising costs. And so we're trying to keep things affordable and enticing. And so, yeah, I mean, you can't beat $110. You get 6 home games. You get you get this, you get a season 6 scarf, you get a hot dog and fountain drink at every single home game. And of course, there's always free parking at the Rio Rancho Event Center with it. So, I mean, when you put it all together, that's a over $200 value for $110. You can't beat it.
Yeah, exactly. You look at the ticket prices. I mean, you guys compared to United, you're easily cheaper than United, and you're cheaper than the Lobos. You get, again, phenomenal family fun, great atmosphere. Like you mentioned, the kickoff general admission upper bowl tickets start at $80 per season ticket. Power play is $110. You mentioned with the food involved. Single game ticket price is $15. I mean, you can't beat it. You really can't beat it. You can't even go to the zoo for that unless you have a pass. But even that gets kind of pricey too. But absolutely phenomenal. Like we've talked about a lot of things off the pitch. We talked about things are going on. What about on the pitch? You've made a couple player announcements. Obviously, Captain Froylan Ramirez is back.
Yep.
Nate Yeager, Austin Snyder, Mario Matute is back. Nick Cashmere is back.
Yep.
Vince is back. I believe Terry is back.
Terry Zamota's back. Yep. Terry Zamota's back. And then, Dominic Valenzuela's back. He was actually our backup goalkeeper in the first and second season. He had a couple things where, where he had to take care of work and whatnot, but he's back. So we got a secondary keeper ready to go. And we have I would say we have about 7 new faces that several few from tryouts that we had back in November, but then others that were came in late that just didn't have a chance to try out. But we have a new guy by the name of Pete Insario. There's a doctor, but he came from the East Coast. He came from Connecticut, and he wanted a trial, so he was invited to practice. And sure enough, things kind of meshed out, and now we signed him, and yeah, we got somebody from Connecticut. We that loved what we were doing, and sees an opportunity with the runners, and what he's doing, and working and doing his thing with futsal as well, and saw New Mexico as an opportunity market. So I mean, it's pretty cool to see what we got going on, and working on building up the new talent as well, right? Like the whole idea is having longevity, and who's going to replace the veterans when they it's their time to call it quits. So FAMI's doing a great job bringing these folks on, these youngins, to be able to carry on the torch, as they say.
Talk about the open tryout process. Obviously, a number of clubs at the lower leagues, at the lower division levels, do this. You don't really see it above, Division 2 and 3. And here are the MASL, M2, M3. I'm sure this is probably where a lot of the clubs get a lot of their talent that come in. Talk about that process and bringing people in and having them come up and play against guys who have been in the league for a few years. Because you talked about the difference in playing outdoor and indoor. How do they? It's probably a rough couple days there while they're learning the ropes.
It's a different ball game, right? I mean, the pace of play is different. I mean, with the indoor game, it's a go, and it's nonstop. You're playing balls to the wall, and pun intended with that. And so when we had our tryouts, we had quite a few guys that we had interest in. But this game is very mental, right? It's how you can take information, how you can process it, and how you can execute it. And so you got to be very quick to be able to facilitate a successful play or successful setup to score goals or play defense or whatnot. And so several guys that came to tryouts were impressive. And you were thinking, okay, well, they look good in tryout, but let's be real. Let's see how you are when it comes down to the actual competitive side of things. And to be honest, like the MASL, the MASL2, it's competitive. It's a very competitive league, and so you're getting guys that have been playing this game for a very, very, very long time, and so when you're seeing new folks jumping on board and competing at this level and competing against these guys, that's when we go, wow, this is impressive. We have local talent, and we want to be able to springboard into the highest level we can and develop even. And of course, and I don't know if you caught this, but one of our former players, Rashad Amati, a Sandia High School standout graduate alum, he ended up getting a contract with Utica City in New York in the MSL 1. So, I mean, that's huge because that shows that the New Mexico Runners program is building athletes. And of course, our goal is to be at the highest level we can be, right? And so, I mean, I have dreams of getting and being an MASL 1 team. Like I want to, like that's a goal of mine. But we've got to build those foundations. But if we can springboard and build local athletes to get to the highest level possible, then hey, I think that's a win in our book, and we want to put New Mexico athletes on the map, and I think we're doing that.
Yeah, you kind of jumped me a little. I was going to bring up Mershad because I did see that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good. No, Mershad's been a fan favorite here with the runners. He's a guy that we've talked to a handful of times. Super nice guy. You talk about the development of talent here. It's exciting to see him move on and move up to bigger and better things, and getting that contract with M1. When you look at the club as a whole, you talk about your goal of moving up to M1. What's that process like? Is for those who don't know, is there pro rel within MASL? Is it just buy your way in like it is with every other U.S. league? Like how does that work for you guys? And what are you kind of looking at as a time frame of that?
I think definitely the biggest factor is the financial side of things. MAS M1 is you have a longer season. It's you got 12 home, 12 away, so you have 24 games instead of 12. So you're doubling the season. Travel is another part of it. You got to travel cross country quite a bit, so you got to look at costs there. That adds up and whatnot. And so when you look at the grand scheme of things with outside of the box, you realize it's definitely you got to get to a financial standpoint of, hey, okay, we can afford this. We're generating enough revenue to be able to make this happen. And then after that's established, then everything else it falls into place, right? Then it goes into the whole thing where you start building your athletes at the next level. You're going to start looking at recruiting outside of the state. Because at the M1 level, you're going to have this salary cap and salary budget that you want to be able to fulfill to be able to be as competitive as could be to win a championship. And so there's a lot of factors that go into becoming an M1 team. And so being the beauty of being an M2 team, you're able to work out those kinks. You're able to build those foundations to be able to say, hey, okay, what do we got to do to work on? What do we got to work on to be able to get to this long term goal and to accomplish, what it's going to take to accomplish that.
So I know Fami looks around, looks at local high schools, some youth leagues, things like that as well. Have there ever been any plans to kind of work alongside ASL to look at some more adult level talent, guys who have kind of aged out of the high school and college age groups?
Yeah, and I think we're doing that now. Especially with the new guys that we're bringing on. Fami has a philosophy, a little bit of a change in dynamics in his philosophy to be able to put out the best quality of soccer we can put out here at this in our market and in the league. So I mean, yeah, definitely being able to see who's out there and he'll tell you, it's not just something where you say, hey, can I come play for the Runners? It doesn't work that way. You got to show out, you got to compete, you got to perform. And if you're not performing, well, you're not going to play. And so he has his standards, and so having these standards are what dictates, are you able to compete at this level? And it's not as easy as people may think, right? You may think, oh, okay, well, this is what this is, and oh, I see this guy, and I play with him maybe on an ASL league or something like that, and whatnot. But oh, he's playing for the Runners. Oh, I probably could play for the Runners. Oh, okay. Well, doesn't work that way. I mean, if you can play and you understand, like I said earlier, if you can, you have the mental intelligence to be able to process and execute and take in that information and successfully execute what the message is, and whether it's shooting, passing, teamwork, whatever it is, scoring goals, kick it, shot selection, whatever it is, then we're willing to give you a shot, and Family's all about that.
As I don't know if you can tell us or not, but has Fami finally decided to hang up the studs for good, or do you think we'll see him on the pitch again this year?
I think he's good for. I think he's good. And we kind of joke about that too. Like, and he's like, no, we're good. Yeah, I think it's all officially hung up. But even though he always says, I want to play. Like, my passion is. I just love it. This is my passion, and so, but it's a fun joke about, hey, are you hanging it up this year? Are you going to try and jump on the pitch and try to do something? Are you going to show these youngins up again? But yeah, I think he's done for good with that.
I had one more question for you, and that's
Yeah.
looking at the schedule here, a bit of a staggered start for the league this year. You've got Wichita, who's already played two matches heading into the
Yeah.
weekend. They did two against, I believe it was
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City,
And
yeah.
home and away. They just did a home and away. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously you guys get started this week, and I saw Cal doesn't start until January. What kind of went into that with the league? Is it all just a matter of scheduling? Is it a matter of what happened there?
Yeah, so when if teams bail out or teams fold and close up shop, it does throw everything into a tizzy. And really Amarillo vacating as well as Dodge City vacating. that kind of really threw everything for a loop. And so the league had to adjust to facilitate making sure, scheduling works for everybody. And let's be real, like scheduling is probably one of the most difficult things in any league. It doesn't matter what level you're at. It can be from youth league to professional. Scheduling becomes one of the most difficult things that part of the operations and league operations. And so, yeah, it just kind of got thrown for a major loop because those teams ended up bailing out last minute and or folding up shop last minute. And we were everything was cool. We were all trying to get the schedule out, facilitated, back in August, September, right? Hey, get this done. Everything looked good, and then things happen, and you have to adjust. You have to pivot, and you have to figure out a way to make it work. And so, unfortunately, that created this concept of some teams start. Excuse me. Created a concept of some teams starting early and some teams starting later, and of course, when arena dates are very difficult when it comes to scheduling with your home arenas, because you got to have those dates in advance, as far in advance as possible. But sometimes it just you have to figure out the way to adjust. And yeah, it's a weird year. It's a weird season for this, but we're prepared either way. Coach and I have talked about it, and we're prepared to rock and roll, man. It's just it's what we got. Got to do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure I speak for all three of us. Jacob, Earl, and myself. And we cannot wait to see the runners in action this year. Again, the season kicks off this Saturday on the road against Wichita. First home game, Sunday, December 29th. Again, the website says season tickets will be on single game tickets will be on sale soon. Yep. I know I can't wait because I'll have my kids, my girlfriend. It'll be her first time experiencing indoor soccer. So, hoping to get everybody out there and enjoy that. And I cannot wait to see the runners. I'm looking forward to a great season. Everything looks good. Obviously, Fammy against season 6. You guys have been rocking and rolling.
Practice
here
has been looking good. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely cannot wait. Jacob, you got anything?
No, man, I was sitting back here letting you cook. That was fantastic. I was learning just about as much as everybody listening. So no, I'm excited again. I've said it, I think all 5 seasons that I'm gonna do my best to get out there, but we'll look at the schedule. We'll see if me and Seth can make it out to the same game, maybe the 29th. I don't know. And every time we have Andres on, when we've had Coach on, I just get so jazzed and pumped up for what you guys are doing, not only in the arena, but also in the community. So thank you so much for all the work that you do in the Albuquerque Rio Rancho area, and can't wait to see what this season brings.
Hey, appreciate you guys. You guys do a thankless job. I mean, you guys are out there. You guys do this for the love of the game. You do this for you guys have this passion that showcases the beauty of what we have in our community, and more. We need more people like yourselves, because it just is like, hey, you know what? If we're all coming together, we're all coming under the same umbrella at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you're out there and you're a United fan, a Runners fan. It's New Mexico soccer, baby. Like we want all soccer fans to, if you're watching this and you've never been to a Runners game, but you love United, guess what? You're gonna love Runners too. Runners fans are United fans, and United fans are Runners fans. It's New Mexico soccer fans. That's what we all are. And we want everybody to just come and enjoy what we're doing, and just definitely, it's soccer season doesn't end in this. It doesn't end. It's year round, baby. Like you got United in the summertime. You got the Runners in the wintertime. I mean, we got soccer in New Mexico year round, and I think that's what makes our community unique, and we all can enjoy that and take hold of that and embrace it and own it.
Yes, sir.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, New Mexico soccer, it really is. You mentioned, you've got, ASL and youth soccer, from basically February to June, and you've got a couple months off there, and you've got club soccer, you've got United, you got, like you said, you've got fall seasons, and then you've got, you guys in the winter, and you've got Kramer Fields year round, all sorts of stuff going on, always all sorts of ways to get involved, whether it's coaching, reffing, whether it's actually getting out there and playing. Lots of different ways to continue to grow the beautiful game within the state of New Mexico. And it really is something that brings so many people together. Like I've got people going, "Hey, where you been? Why haven't you been out there? You're going to come out in the spring?" Like, because I haven't reffed in some time. So, it really is a big unifying thing. It doesn't matter who you are. All you need is a ball.
Exactly.
That's all you need. Really, that's really all you need to get out and kick the ball around, have a little kick around and just enjoy the outdoors. And because we have some phenomenal outdoor spaces, and that's just one way to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Andres Trujillo, CEO of the New Mexico Runners, thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time with you tonight. And yeah, it's again, runner schedule. Where can folks go to find the runners on social media? Where can they go to get tickets? Splash those links out there, man. Let's get you guys some more folks.
The centralized location is newmexicorunners.com. Has all the information, tickets, schedule. We'll be putting up the roster here in the next couple of days on there, so you guys can follow the exact roster on who's signed. We're going to be announcing a lot of these different signings, more specifically individually with the players as the week goes on. But yeah, all our socials are at NM Runners, so very easy. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, it's all there. And so, but yeah, we just want everybody to come out. The December 29th game is Rio Rancho Community Day, so if you do live in Rio Rancho, you actually get in free. But I'll give you a little hint. We have if you go on our single ticket page, you can actually download a voucher that is actually a ticket you can use at the box office to get in for free. So if you're in Albuquerque, download that ticket voucher, bring it to the box office. You don't necessarily have to show you live in Rio Rancho, and you get into the 29th game for free.
I'm not sure that's a great business model on this, just telling everybody this hack, but no, it just shows where your heart's at. It shows that you just want people there.
Our goal is cheeks in the seats.
Exactly.
That is what we're trying to do in our first home game of the season. We're trying to go off with a bang. We want everybody to experience what New Mexico Runners Arena Soccer is, and so that's kind of one of the little different dynamics. Every season we usually do Rio Rancho Community Day. We've done it in the last few seasons, and so one of the biggest feedback, we listen. One of the biggest feedback we get is folks in Albuquerque. Well, hey, we want to go to the game for free. What? We want to go. Well, Albuquerque, if you want to go to the game for free, just go on our ticket page and download that voucher and show it at the box office. We got you covered.
Well, it's so hard to tell people that aren't from that area that Albuquerque and Rio Rancho are actually two different towns and cities.
Yes.
And so it all just kind of blends in. So why not bring everybody in? Seth, that means you can get in for free. Cheeks and seats, like Andres said. So
yes,
that's going to be awesome. Hopefully we have an amazing turnout and we can kick the season off on the right foot. Pun was fully intended there, by the way.
Absolutely.
And as always, all the New Mexico Runners matches are streamed live. All the home games are streamed live on Facebook and YouTube, I believe.
We will stream the on our website. We have our watch page, and I actually embed the video from the whoever we're on the road with. So this weekend you'll see Wichita's broadcast, but it'll be embedded on our website so that anybody can watch every road game as well.
I was just about to ask if they were going to have a broadcast as well, because I know at times there are some teams that haven't. So, wanted to make sure that so that will be available for everyone to watch this Saturday. Again, so kickoff Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time.
Yes.
So, all right. Yeah, looking forward to it. Cannot wait to see what happens with the Runners this season. Again, Andres, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you guys in person again. It's been a minute.
Yes.
Get out, and I can't wait to get a family hug this year.
Hey, we're all ready for you guys. We're all ready for you guys. So definitely, come out, hang out with us, and we're excited for this season. So we're gonna have a great season. We're optimistic. We got a different game plan, and so we're looking at success. We're ready to hit the ground running.
All right, there we go. Jacob, Unless you've got anything else, I think that's going to do it for us. What do you say we get out of here?
Sounds good to me, man. We've got Christmas in a couple weeks, Runners home game in a couple weeks. It's a great time right now. So thank you guys, everybody in the chat. Josh and Justin, our normal guys. Catherine over there. I think Jane was in there. Thank you, everybody else. If I missed anybody, Linda over there. Thank you guys so much. Sorry for having
Melanie.
an adorable. Oh yeah, Melanie. Yeah, she was talking directly to me. I forgot that was a.
She
comment.
was. Yeah.
And so, sorry that I had an adorable little host try to take over the podcast there for a little while, but thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week, 8:00. I'm not sure which combination of people will be here, but somebody will be here. We'll be talking any United news. We'll be talking any Runners news that we get. And man, I just can't wait for the off season for United and the Runner season start. So Andres, thank you again. Seth, thank you. You guys, Seth, you killed that. You did a fantastic job there. I was just a passenger for sure, but I was having a great time. So hopefully everybody watching and everybody listening in the future had a great time as well. If it's your first time hearing about the Runners, go check them out. Go check them out for sure. As we have declared, I have not been to a home match, but everybody that I've talked to has a great time. Definitely on a bucket list for me. So thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week, 8:00. And until then, guys, somos lindos. Love y'all.